Renewable energy in Malaysia. Renewable energy capacity in peninsular Malaysia. Four main type of renewable energy use in Malaysia are hydropower, solar energy, biomass, and biogas. The highest capacity of renewable energy is gained from hydropower, which is 2,559 megawatt. The second highest capacity is solar energy, which is 260 megawatt. While biomass and biogas are 26.5 megawatts and 27.7 megawatts respectively. Malaysia's renewable energy policies. An act to provide for the establishment and implementation of a special tariff system to catalyze the generation of renewable energy and to provide for related matters. The government fully subscribes to the concept of sustainable development. The newly restructured Ministry of Energy, Green Technology, and Water is at its final stage in developing a comprehensive renewable energy policy that complements the national green technology policy. The renewable energy policy provides the direction and funds to make renewable energy an important component of the country's energy mix, overcome technological barriers, address existing market failures, and drive down costs. As high cost of renewable energy is the key stumbling block that prohibit the renewable energy implementation, the new renewable energy policy will introduce feed-in tariff as a pricing mechanism. Presently, there is still massive support for conventional energy sources in the forms of subsidies. If renewable energy were to be competent economically, it is important that renewable energy receives the same treatment as fossil fuels. Otherwise, such subsidies should be removed or made transparent in order to create a level playing field. This can be partly overcome through a mandatory feed-in tariff, which has shown positive results in some countries such as in Germany, Spain, and Portugal. Under the scheme, which might be part of the renewable energy policy, electricity utilities must buy renewable electricity at above market rates set by the government. The higher price helps overcome the cost disadvantages of renewable energy sources. Like successful policies elsewhere, the proposed feed-in tariff will include all renewable energy, differentiates tariff by technology and derives the tariff based on the cost of generation. Under the feed-in tariff, PTM has proposed that consumers who use electricity beyond a certain minimum point are required to contribute 2% of their bill towards a renewable energy fund, which will then be used to equalize the price between non-renewable and renewable sources of energy. The scheme could change the mindset of consumers as it is based on the polluter pays principle. The role for government in this principle is to discourage environmental harms and to ensure that polluters pay for the damage they cause and are enjoined from causing harm in the future. From this principle, if individuals or companies paid a price for polluting, it is believed that they would be less likely to do it. Political issues of renewable energy in Malaysia. The renewable energy development in Malaysia could be hampered by several barriers, which are financial, technical, regulatory, or institutional and informational in nature, that needs to be addresses for the viability of renewable energy development in the country. Public opinion about renewable in Malaysia. There are numerous issues of renewable energy development at present, but reliable and implementable renewable energy solutions is appropriate for Malaysia in moving towards sustainable development. While Renewable Energy Roadmap Action Plan is a welcome move, the successful policies require buy-in from all agencies and the general public, of which it will require some time for it to be implemented. The government agencies are not the only ones who should make the efforts, but the private sector should also be more corporate social responsible and make compromises, for instance by accepting longer payback periods in renewable energy projects. If Malaysia is to introduce feed-in tariff, user acceptance to pay for higher cost of renewable energy would be a major challenge. Nevertheless, a breakthrough is needed to overcome the high cost by means of creating a market and forcing the renewable industry to grow that will ultimately lower the cost of technology. Obviously, if Malaysia is to make headway in building a low-carbon society, renewable law and legal instruments need to be instituted that allow all players to invest. Renewable energy in India.
India is one of the countries with the largest production of energy from renewable sources. In 2015, Prime Minister Narendra Modi set an ambitious goal for India to generate 175 gigawatts of renewable energy by 2020. According to latest data released by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, India has installed a total capacity of 74.79 gigawatts of renewable power as of December 31, 2018. The Wadhwani Chair in U.S.-India Policy Studies analyzed the progress each Indian state had made on meeting this target, and the path ahead for India as it tries to meet these goals. In June 2015, India announced that it would develop 175 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity by 2022. To this end, federal and state governments introduced a number of tax and financial incentives to make India's nascent solar and wind sectors appealing for investors. These benefits allowed the renewable energy industry to become cost competitive with other conventional fuels. Cut back to 2018 and the gradual rollback of some of these incentives, the federal government defending the move as a way to ensure a level playing field for all resources, even as it threatened to make renewable energy production financially unviable. In this article, we take an in-depth look at investing in India's renewables sector, and discuss the major incentives still available for investors and producers. India's renewable energy policies. Renewable energy in India comes under the purview of the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. India was the first country in the world to set up a Ministry of Non-Conventional Energy Resources. A Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency, IRDA, is there to promote, develop, and extend financial support for renewable energy and energy efficiency. The government has taken the following initiatives to promote renewable energy in India. 1. National Clean Energy Fund. The Finance Bill 2010-11 has created a corpus called National Clean Energy Fund, which will invest in entrepreneurial ventures and research in the field of clean energy technologies. 2. Renewable Energy Certificates, REC. A REC is a market-based instrument which enables the obligated entities to meet their renewable purchase obligation, RPO. Certificates are generated on account of production of renewable energy by renewable energy generators. These certificates can be sold and traded or bartered, and the owner of the REC can claim to have purchased renewable energy. 3. Green Energy Corridor. India has set aside $7.9 billion to create a green energy corridor to facilitate the flow of renewable energy into its grid electricity. The project will be implemented with the assistance of Germany, which has promised to provide developmental and technical assistance of $1 billion as soft credit. National Offshore Wind Energy Policy 2015. National Institute of Wind Energy, NIWE, has been established in China in the year 1998, as an autonomous R&D institution by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, MNRE, Government of India. It is a knowledge-based institution of high quality and dedication, offers services, and seeks to find complete solutions for the kinds of difficulties and improvements in the entire spectrum of the wind energy sector by carrying out further research. National Offshore Wind Energy Policy 2015 is to promote deployment of offshore wind farms up to 12 nautical miles from coast. To promote investment in energy infrastructure. To promote spatial planning and management of maritime renewable energy resources in the exclusive economic zone. To achieve energy security and reduce carbon emissions. To encourage indigenization of offshore wind energy technology. And the last one is to promote R&D in the offshore wind energy sector. Solar energy policy in India. Number 1 is Solar Loan Program. Launched in 2003, the Indian Solar Loan Program was a 4-year partnership between UNEP, the UNEP Resource Centre, and 2 of India's largest banks, the Canara Bank and Syndicate Bank. The Indian Solar Loan Program, supported by the United Nations Environment Programme, has won the prestigious Energy Globe World Award for Sustainability for helping to establish a consumer financing program for solar home power systems. Over the span of 3 years, more than 16,000 solar home systems have been financed through 2,000 bank branches, particularly in rural areas of South India where the electricity grid does not yet extend. 2. National Institute of Solar Energy. National Institute of Solar Energy, an autonomous institution of Ministry of New and Renewable, MNRE, is the apex national R&D institution in the field solar energy. The Government of India has converted 25-year-old Solar Energy Centre, SEC, under MNRE to an autonomous institution in September 2013 to assist the Ministry in implementing the National Solar Mission and to coordinate research, technology, and other related works. 3. A 10-year tax holiday for solar power projects. 4. Generation-based schemes for small solar projects connected to a grid below 33 kV. 5. A subsidy of 30% of the project cost for off-grid PV and solar thermal projects. Loans at concessional rates for off-grid applications. Political issues of renewable energy in India. The momentum behind renewable energy is unstoppable. Both cost considerations and environmental consequences point to a major energy transition, not only in India, but globally. But as Arvind Subramanian has aptly phrased the conundrum, renewables may be the future, but are they the present? In his recent lecture at TERI, he outlined various economic reasons why India should slow down on redeployment in the short run. But the reasons to go slow on renewable energy are not purely economic, but they are also political. Populist backlash to the perceived injustices of hasty energy transitions have contributed to anti-incumbent electoral swings in both America's and Germany's coal belt. Public opinion about renewable energy in India. The environmental and social concerns associated with renewable energy projects have generally not been very widely discussed in India. There could be 2 reasons for the same. The first being the fact that typically renewable energy projects are outside the purview of environmental impact assessment, considering the fact that such projects have negligible negative impact on surrounding environment. The other being that cases where there have been problems on this front are not many in number and are therefore not widely reported. The recently commissioned report by MNRE on developmental impact and governance issues of renewable energy projects has put forth similar views on this subject. Notwithstanding this fact, it is seen that some renewable energy projects, for example wind and small hydropower projects, have had significant effects on local ecosystems. The recently concluded report of the Western Ghats Ecology Expert Panel, WGEP, highlights several issues and concerns associated with the setting up of wind projects in the Western Ghats, which have several high wind potential sites. The setting up of transmission lines, hauling of construction cranes for setting up wind masts, as well as hauling the wind masts themselves, require construction of roads, necessitating the large-scale destruction of forests, habitats, and soils, including leading to landslides and massive soil erosion in these high rainfall areas. MOEF, 2011. Apart from damaging effects on landscape, they also have negative impacts on bird mortality and cause habitat fragmentation. The case of the controversial Enercan wind project near the Bhima Shankar Wildlife Sanctuary in Maharashtra, which has caused grave destruction to the flora and fauna, has also been investigated in the report, WGEP, 2011. That's all. Thank you.